In this episode, we'll go over gear, practicing as an individual, and finding your tempo. This is Drummer Code. So I touched on my junior high life, moving on to high school. So this was about 1983, 1984, and I grew up in a family with an older brother and 3 older sisters. So I listened to a lot of music, a lot of cool music, and of course this was back in the day of the vinyl record. Of course this is one of my sister's albums. You know, they don't make them like this anymore, where you can get some really cool album art in the albums anymore, in the, what is it, digital now? Some Led Zeppelin for you, just bringing out some nostalgia so you know where I'm coming from. This was some of the stuff that I listened to, and of course getting into high school, my brother was just 5 years older than me, so he was into a different kind of music that was coming out at the time. And here's some more albums of the stuff that he was turning me on to. Heavy metal was one of the coolest movies around. Great soundtrack: Black Sabbath, Royce Recall, Cheap Trick, Don Felder, Journey. Great stuff right here. But that was the stuff that I was turned on to. So I started listening to a lot of the rock. Aldo Nova was big at the time. This was a huge one for me. My brother would work, and every Friday when he'd get his paycheck, he'd run to the local music store and pick up these records. And so I was turned on to a whole different kind of music style. And then of course after the vinyls, there was some cassettes that came out, and music in a tape form. Pretty neat stuff. Some Motley Crue there, some Eagles live. So this was the stuff. Oops. So this was the stuff I was listening to, and the reason I'm bringing that up is we're talking about gear. The passion grew a lot more. The desire grew a lot more. I kept bugging my dad for that drum set, and he finally bought me one. He went into his neighborhood music store, and it was a little tiny shop. It was an old man that he knew, and he handled more of the used instruments, and he bought me my first drum kit. It was a blue sparkle CB700, 5-piece, real small. I guess I knew nothing about drums. I didn't know what it was. I just knew that I was getting one. The cheap Camco cymbals and 20-inch bass drum. I think it was 10, 12, 14. Of course, the snare, the blue sparkle snare. And he bought that for me. And I put on these records and tapes and just started playing along with them. Now, Drummer Code number 9 is gear. Now, if you have the means, or if you got a job and you're going to buy the equipment, or maybe your parents are going to buy you the equipment, get what you want. Because when my dad bought that for me, I had no idea what I wanted, so it was cool. I was cool with it. He paid $400, and I probably could have gotten a better drum set at the local music store, but that was his choice. He was giving me a gift, so great. I learned how to play on that little CB700 drum set. Set them up in my room. Actually took out the light bulb and I put a red light bulb in to give it ambiance. Jammed the Motley Crues and the Iron Maidens, and I would play along. One of the bands that really helped me out was AC/DC. Phil Rudd, incredible drummer, because he's pocket, right in the pocket, and we'll go over what that means later on. Solid drummer, and I learned how to play with those records. So remember, I told you needed to take lessons. Make sure you do that. But what's going to help you, you're going to improve your ear, your tempo. Find your favorite music and play it. Get a pair of headphones, put them on, and play along with it. Keep track of the tempo, and you're going to see that you're going to start picking up on those cool habits. Your favorite drummers, your favorite bands, you're going to start picking up on those influences, and that's what helps you out a lot. So before I stop talking about gear, and we'll go over this later on, if you can afford it, that's what I was going to say. If you can afford a better drum set, do it. If you can afford better cymbals, do it. Because later on you won't have to worry about buying all those things. I myself started with that cheap drum set and then moved on, and I will tell you a little bit more as we progress in my history of how I was playing and where those drum sets came into play and how they helped me. Drummer code number 10, practicing as an individual. So before you go out and join a band, you're going to want to know how to play. You don't have to. You guys can start as a group and just kind of make noise, and I've done that too. But what I did was put the tapes, put the records on. Of course, these days it's all digital. You know, you get your iPod and put your headphones in and just play along with it. So you're learning your favorite songs. That comes, that's going to help you choose the type of players you want to play with. You're going to have something in common. Hey, I like that group. I like that song. You get together, you start piecing, you know, a little band together with your friends, and next thing you know, you're playing your favorite song. So that's where it helps. That's where it comes in. Listen to the records, listen to the songs, and learn them, and practice every day if you can. I know it's hard. If you get home from school, get home from your job. If you're living with your folks, it's tough. If you're living in your own apartment, it's tough because you can't beat on those drums. Find a good practice location and practice and practice and practice, because you're going to need to know your parts and know how to play before you join a band. So make sure you do that. Drummer code 11, tempo. Once again, lessons, you're going to learn the basics, you're going to learn rudiments. But what I think helped me the most with tempo, since I didn't take all the lessons, was listening to the tapes, listening to the records. I'm dropping stuff everywhere. Listening to your favorite songs. Put the music on, try to play along with the drummer. You can start adding your own parts later on, but learn the different parts, learn the tempo, and that's how you pick up on developing your own style. I had mentioned Phil Rudd with AC/DC. He was a pocket drummer, and what that means is he's just solid, on time. I mean, it was just, you could feel it. It was groove. It's a groove. He plays, and he plays just a little behind the tempo, so it's a little drag, and it just sounded so cool with everything else going around. That's how I learned how to play. I like to do that. I like to hold the band back a little bit. Some of the guys don't care for it. I think it sounds cool. It depends on what kind of music you're playing. But groove, and you're going to find out later on, groove is everything. So make sure you get your gear, right? Try to get the best gear you can. If you can't afford it, go to Craigslist, go to eBay, and buy your stuff. Now be careful, because, matter of fact, I'm selling 3 drum sets myself on Craigslist, and I get asked this question all the time. I put it in the notes there, the description, that it's just the shell kit. Usually when you buy a drum set, it's just the shells. The cymbals and the stands and all the stuff that goes around with it, you buy separately. Now, if you're a beginner drummer, you don't know that because you just don't know. You figure it's like a guitar. You buy the guitar, you buy an amp and a cord, and you got your whole thing. The drums is different. The better the kit, you're only getting the shells, unless it's a package deal. Now, the package deals, you get the cymbals, you get stands. It's a little more expensive. If you can afford that, by all means, go for it. But I was going to tell you, go ahead and garage sale, Craigslist. You can find some pretty decent drums, and sometimes the people will sell with the stands and the cymbals and all that good stuff. So just check it out. That's going to do it for me. Once again, if you would like to subscribe or comments down below, I'm just like you. I started just the way I'm telling you how I started, and I've been playing for a long time and jamming. Until next time, we'll see you. Keep playing the drums, and remember to beat them like they owe you money.